I had this feeling that I was like scraping the bottom of the barrel at that point. And that's what made me realize, it's like, there's nowhere else to go. So I was like, I just remember sat there one night, like I'd moved to London. I was so fortunate to have like my family and friends around me who just like are love, right? Just love. And yeah, I found myself just sitting on the balcony, and I had this realization that I just hit the bottom, and I was like, wow, so this is the bottom. So there's nowhere to go now. So what is there to do, and what does this feel like? And as I look back now, I realize that those nights where I used to sit on my own for hours, just overthinking, overanalyzing, which went on for years, and it was like a slow form of meditation, right? With no direction. So it was leading me everywhere. I was just being led by this. And there's a really good picture called the Zen ox herding diagram, and it's like this bull, and you're looking for the bull at first, and that's the stage that was at. Like I knew something else was out there, right? Because previously in my life I had this experience of like weightlessness, of pure happiness, right? That was attached to nothing, and that's what kept me going, because I'd had this experience, and I was like, that experience is out there, and I know it because it was so true to my heart that it was what this is about. That right now it's muddy water. And then I found meditation. And
how did you find meditation?
So it was actually through a friend predominantly. So there was a couple of friends. One of them is a neurologist now as well. Really cool work into the science of meditation on the brain. And we just ended up finding each other at a time where both of us were kicking off this journey, and both of us knew nothing about it. And so it was like exciting, because it was, let's go do research and catch up like every few days and talk for hours about the research that we've done, the practice that we've been doing, and whether it feels like it's going this way or whether it feels like it's not. And then if it's not, both of us agree on that, let's like move again and try something else, and keep incrementally building until we find people that will also help us with that, and keep growing and building that community and learning of people. And then we started reading different books. Like there's some incredible books around how the brain works and mindfulness that I'd recommend to everybody, because they have so much to offer. Like there's The Mind Illuminated by a guy called Chuladasa.
Okay. And
Chuladasa is like his given name, but he's a PhD scientist, and he kind of just explains mindfulness, and it's this massive textbook, but it's great because it just walks you through it. And we used that as a base concept, and gradually I started realizing that there was so much attachment in my life, right? An attachment to anything and everything. And because of that attachment, I was working myself up constantly, and that was just creating suffering, like constant suffering. And so then I started working on sitting with it, and that's how it started with that night, and sitting with it and letting it happen, right? And seeing, like I was talking about before, like the sensation is happening, but if I'm watching this sensation, that sensation is not me, right? And then I questioned, who is this I that's talking in my head? And you kind of just start flicking back and noticing like it's just shining a light on more and more and more, and you keep doing that until you get to a position where there's this vast expanse of open awareness. It's just letting things come, and you're not attached to it being any way. Like something will come up, whether it's a good memory, a bad memory, a good emotion, a bad emotion, whatever good and bad means, and it just comes up and it goes away, and that's totally okay. You just let it happen. And suddenly I was just like, wow, just let it happen. And I don't need to do anything with that, right? I can do something with it, because I don't want to just sit there letting it happen. I've got a job, I've got family, right? So then that was a completely different perspective. And then the second bit was realizing love for like Vaheguru, for God, right? And that like Vaheguru knows everything. I've got nothing to hide because they see everything and they still love me, right? So like there's nothing else for me to do. I could just like love back and then love everything through the same way.
Just one line that comes to mind when you said that is Satguru mera taakadiya. It means that the Guru, as in Vaheguruji, has like covered all my like negative qualities. Mohe papi parad. I'm such a big sinner, but they just discarded all of that. They don't even look at any of that.
Yeah.
And even earlier what you're saying about just seeing it all, it's like you're just witnessing it, but you're not that. Like,
Exactly.
With the Atma, right? With the soul. And all this stuff is just seeing it. And the word that they use is Sakshi, means to witness.
Yeah.
Right, so that's really cool. And then so from there, I know you looked into other religions as well, and you thought, how did you do this like big 360 then of coming back to Sikhi after all of that?
That's a good question.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out the full podcast on our second channel, BOS TV.
And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Let's get it to 10k subs.